Hello, 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 beautiful people. Hello. Welcome to season 4. We're doing Rewind with Ro. My name is Ro Carter, and my amazing co-host Rob Smith. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. Great. Living life. Excited to do this episode.
You got a little fog over there. Is there like a haze on the, like a little coating on the? Is that me? Is that you? Okay, all right. That's production, people. That's what we do here. That's what we do. Oh, look at there we go, Rob. There we go, buddy.
That was crisp and clean.
I'm delighted. It was crazy. Sorry.
I don't know what that was. I don't know why my camera was just dirty.
I was gonna say it was steam because that energy you give off. It's just like, hey, relax.
I do what I do.
You know what I'm saying? That confidence. Anyway, we're back for another week. How was your Thanksgiving, sir? Did you have fun? Did you stay in LA? Did you go travel? What did you do?
Thanksgiving was great. I Friendsgiving hopped, so I went to four different Friendsgivings over the course of like 3 days. So it was kind of spread out. On Thanksgiving, actually, I went to 2 on Thanksgiving Day. I went to 1 to 2 days before, and then 1 the day after. So I had to spread out a little bit.
Now, with everything going on, can you have fun on Thanksgiving, or you gotta you can only have like a biscuit and that's it? Like.
Oh no, I'm great now.
Are you indulgent? Okay, you good to go.
Yeah. The crazy part is I have been craving like meat, and I haven't been eating meat for like 7 years. But I think whatever they did, now my body's like, oh, you need to eat some of that meat. So I'm like, I want a little beef, I want a little chicken, but I haven't done it. I had a little bit of turkey on Thanksgiving, but that's it. That's as far as I've gone so far.
Okay, all right. Did you do anything else, or that was it?
That was it. How about you, Ro? What did you do for Thanksgiving?
I flew to New York.
Right.
That was what?
I said that's right.
Yes, flew to New York from Miami. Flew on Wednesday night. My girlfriend was coming from Maine. She had to see her mom. She drove back. She was in a car for 11 hours to get to New York. Yeah, I was like, oh, nope. So we met up at a friend's house we were staying at in Long Island City. He gave us his apartment. And so we were staying there. This is our second year doing that. I am not doing that anymore because I forgot the next day when you're driving to Jersey, you have to go through Manhattan and then go to Jersey. We left at 1:30. We didn't get to my family's house until 4:30. We're in the car for 3 hours. Yeah. So we're not doing that anymore. We're going to stay in Jersey next year and then just go from there for Thanksgiving and go from there. Then I went to the Army game in West Point. That was cool to go to West Point. I haven't been there since I was a kid and see that. I also realized, I think words that I thought I would never say is I miss Florida. And It was so cold. When I tell you in New York, it was pouring rain on Thanksgiving. And then the game that I went to, freezing. I had to buy layers and layers of clothes, freezing. And then I realized I've lost that layer of skin, that I had, that I was like, yo, I could do 55, 45. Nah, man, I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. Anyway, saw my family, caught up with friends. So it was a really good time, just kind of doing everything. Didn't do as much as I wanted to do because, again, it was cold as hell. But anyway, back in Florida now. And now we got a cold spell here. It's like 55, 6 degrees.
But you guys are celebrating Art Basel right now, right? So
yes, I'm going to an event tonight. I'm going to see DJ Pee Wee. You know who that is? I
don't.
You do. It's what's name's alter ego. I'm going to leave the door open.
Oh, Bruno Mars?
No, the other dude. The group.
Oh, I don't know.
You know the Bruno Mars and the other guy.
I would have to Google it.
He plays the drums. He's got the big ass smile. How you doing, everybody? What's his name? You know who he is. Okay, all right. Anyway, he's performing tonight. I'm going to some events tomorrow. This is my first Art Basel, so people are trying to be sexy, but it's cold.
Oh, Anderson .Paak?
Yeah, Anderson .Paak. Yeah. So he has an alter ego. It's called DJ Pee Wee. Excuse me. So he does like old school DJ with a little bit of funk. And so I've always wanted to see him perform. And so my boy hit me up. He's like, yo, I got extra tickets. I'm like, in. So hopefully he goes on like at 12 o'clock latest, because I'm not doing a late night. It's Wednesday. I'm not trying to see it. So that's what happens when you get old. So that's my thing. We're here to do a show tonight. I'm excited. You excited?
I am very excited.
So this is a third installment of Denzel Washington's brain saying, I'm going to take over all of August Wilson's plays and make them out into the live screen. And so he did My Rainey's Bottom, and then he also did Fences. And now his son, directorial debut, is The Piano Lesson that came on Netflix right before Thanksgiving. So we were on a break, and so we're doing it now. So this is the adaptation of the famous play, The Piano Lesson. Going into this, I didn't know what I was getting into. Although I had no idea what the piano was going to be like. Before I go and tell everybody what the movie's about, I will say I went in here with an open mind, and I was excited for the adventure that I went on. It felt like a play, but on a live movie. They gave it justice, because sometimes when it's a play and you try to make it a live movie, they're all over the place. And so I really love what his son did here in terms of like the balance, and then there's these amazing scenes that we'll get into. But anyway, let me tell you what it's about. All right. So this is set in 1936, Pittsburgh, during the aftermath of the Great Depression. The piano lesson follows the lives of the Charles household and an heirloom, the family piano, which is decorated with carvings of the faces of all the ancestors. The movie basically focuses on the adjustments between a brother and a sister, who have different ideas of what to do with the piano. The brother, named Boy Willie, is a sharecropper who wants to sell the piano to buy land. The sister, Bernice, she is empathetic about keeping the piano due to its significance in history. So through this film, we're watching their back and forth about what the piano actually means. And then there's some side stuff that kind of goes on and kind of brings it all together. Otherwise, it was really well done. If you weren't focusing on the story itself, you could say this is a movie about a ghost. But there's a lot of things going on that you feel like you're part of the family, especially if you're of African descent, because it's all about our history and what's going on and that lineage and passing down of what you want your legacy to be. And if you ask Mike Tyson's like, what is legacy? So depending on what the definition of legacy is to you, that is the question throughout the movie. So I really like to see, Rob, what did you think about this film? What were your impressions going into this? Have you seen the play or read the book at all?
I'm an actor, Rob.
Oh, look, okay. All right, there he is. There he is.
So yes, you're correct. It's commonly referred to as the century cycle. It's the 10 plays that 10 plays that focus on like that experience of African Americans in the 20th century by August Wilson. And yes, Denzel is committed to making them all into film. I was very, very excited about this one. And I absolutely loved it. I love what Malcolm Washington did with this story. Of course, the play is in 3 rooms. It's like the kitchen, the living room where the piano is. But he was able to take moments in the play where people are like entering and exiting and different things are happening outside of the story and like weave that into it so that we kind of got that experience outside of the walls of the house. And he pulled that into the film, which I thought was beautifully done. Yeah. Another thing I really, really, really loved about what they did with this, and of course they wrote they wrote this based on the play. They almost didn't change the dialogue from the play.
Yeah.
Which to me I thought was really, really beautiful, and a really beautiful, such a beautiful tribute to August Wilson too. They didn't have to do much to the dialogue to bring it into something that feels very current. Even though it's a period piece, it still feels like kind of current in its experience. So I really, really love that. So I was very excited about it. And I kind of love this family affair that Denzel has made this, where his daughter is the executive producer, his son is the director and writer, and his son is the lead actor. And then his wife was in it. Like there were other, small roles that were performed by
Erykah Badu gets a little shout out.
Erykah Badu. So I just love that he made this a family affair. And I really love seeing the talent and the passion that his children now have for a craft that he's excelled at, and become one of the greatest actors of our time. And now his children are like becoming amazing directors and amazing producers and really honing their acting chops as well. So overall, I'm just really excited and and impressed, and cannot wait to see the next 7 films come out, and hopefully I'll be cast in one of them.
Gotta put it out there, player. Gotta put it out there.
Right. That's right.
So I want to go over the cast a little bit. Joker is played by Samuel L. Jackson. He's basically Boy Willie's uncle and Bernice's uncle. Bernice, played by the lovely Danielle Deadwyler. She is amazing. What was the movie before this?
With Danielle Deadwyler?
Yeah.
Which one might you be referring to?
The only one, the young kid who gets killed.
Till.
Yeah. Emmett Till's story. She was amazing. She does something with her eyes that just like it draws you in. So shout out to her. There's a few actors that really have that command when they're on screen, and she is one of them. Every time I see her in a scene, when it's time for her to cook, she cooks all the time. So shout out to her. She really knocked this out of the park. Hopefully she'll get nominated. Boy Willie, played by John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son. This was interesting, and they didn't ask. I listened to the after parts of the film. You can see them talk around, do a round table or around, I should say, couch about the movie. And so, fun fact is that Samuel Jackson played Boy Willie when this first came out, and that was crazy at Yale. And so, to see his perspective now, he's the grown adult in that, and to see your younger self, I wonder about that introspection about, wow, how did I play that? Could I have added something to it now, where I'm at now at this point? And does John do justice to what I did? You know, and it's also a time piece, period piece, because he did it in 87 and you're doing it in 2024, right? So that film the play had time to really marinate with your thoughts and processing of what you want to be, and now you put it on film. So even though it's the same dialogue, would you bring that same energy? And I think John David Washington did an outstanding job. I was nervous because his voice always sounds the same in every movie he does. So I was wondering if he was going to bring that same energy, and he did, right? He downplayed that. I really felt like he was from the South. I didn't hear that normal actor twang he has when he, like, Denzel has that voice, and I would say John has that voice now. Like, you know, it's John David. Like, when I hear it, I could just close my eyes. Oh, that's John David Washington. I can tell what that is in 2 seconds. So I kind of like that he mixes up just a little bit. So I wasn't like, oh God, John David Washington again. Like,
and a lot of that too comes from August Wilson's writing.
Yes.
It's very the musicality of his writing is the movement of it. You can hear it when you read the words, when you lift the words off the page. But he did do a very good job of like lifting those words off the page and bringing them to reality.
I was nervous. I mean,
I can't lie. But I'm sure, like, with his brother directing it, I'm sure Denzel was very, involved in the process. And then you're working across from Samuel L. Jackson and Danielle Deadwyler, as well as Michael Potts, who played Winning Boy. So, like, just the strength of all those people in that room. And I mean, he's been working so much. His body of work has expanded and grown.
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen him grow as an actor over the years as well. So, yeah,
Lyman, shout out to him, that young brother, man. He played by Ray Fisher. He did a really good job. That character can sometimes, I've seen it in movies like this before, and that character can kind of go to the wayside and you don't really focus on that character or want to hear his story, his or her story. And I love, he did really justice. He made that character so innocent that you're like, oh, he's a likable character. Not always the dumb character. Sometimes like, oh, it's a dumb character. But no, there was life, energy, and there was something about him that you wanted to hear more about his story. So I really love he brought justice to that character. Winning Boy, played by Michael Potts, knocked it out the park. When he was on screen, he either took over or, you were like, he was in the driver's seat kind of going from there. And then Avery, played by Corey Hawkins. So shout out to that actor as well. Everybody did a great job, great casting. The young daughter, she was amazing. All these little things really brought the movie together. There were scenes that I want to discuss with you about, what you felt going into that. Did it do justice? Did you want a little more? Kind of going from there. Let's start out. One of my favorite scenes was the song Birder Birder. And so this was something you did when you went to prison or the Parchment. Eventually they were going to get you. So working on the crops, trying to get your freedom and kind of do your own thing. Eventually they lock you up, the chain gang. And so this is one of the prison songs. So all the men are in this room, and that's when the movie really came to life to me because they sold it. And when you watch them sing, Samuel Jackson's character doesn't come in until later. I haven't heard. I was trying to think. Have I ever heard Samuel Jackson sing in a movie before?
I don't know.
I don't think I have. I'm sure he's done it. He's had to, but like a song versus just saying a couple of lines. But that was beautiful because there's parts where everybody has like their own kind of like couple of minutes to do their thing, and I love that because that really brought the gathering of men working together, black men working together, and feeling that togetherness. And so that really brings the film, like it just pops on screen, like, oh my God, when you hear the bang and then clapping the feet again, boom, like this. If you had good surround sound, you felt like you were right there. You really felt the vibe and energy. What did you think about that scene?
It was phenomenal. The scene that really I was pulled in from.
Well, why don't we do this? That's my scene. You give me your scene after this. That your scene in the movie that you really felt really popped. Tell me what you thought about the scene I brought up, and then I'll.
Yeah. I thought it was extremely well done, and I think one of the things that Malcolm Washington mastered was movement and the way he like captured the energy in the room. So, and the sound design was so beautifully done too, like the clapping of the glasses on the table, the way the camera like moved with the music and like panned across the space. It was just very well directed, and it made you feel like you were in the room. Like you were one of the family members in the room, like you were a part of the conversation. You almost wanted to reach out and give your opinion.
I'm sure people did. Hey, girl, don't do that. No.
Tell Boy Willie, like, come on now. Like, you really want to get rid of this piano. Come on. Yeah. So, like, you really felt like you were in the room. The energy was infectious. And I think part of that came from the way he mastered the movement of the camera and the way he told the story visually. So, yeah, that scene was impeccably done, and it doesn't feel like a random, breakout of song, which happens of course in the stage play. There's moments of music that where they break out around a piano, so of course it's gonna happen. I thought it worked extremely well.
Yeah, you have any scenes that really popped out for you besides that one?
I don't even know if I want to say just a particular scene, but every moment, even when we see the watermelon truck driving down the street and the camera kind of dances with the truck and you feel them going on this journey, right? So there's just like every moment throughout this film was just really well crafted. And then I think they did a great job with the culmination of how, well, that was the one thing I wanted to be a little stronger of a moment, but that's at the very end. I did like the experience we got with Danielle's character, Bernice, when Bernice is at the piano and she's, calling on the ancestors, that whole experience, I thought it was
so let me go into that and we go a little deeper.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I thought that experience was done very well. And I will later on tell you what my small gripe was.
Not Rob. Rob have a gripe with a film? Get out of here. Yeah, so Boy Willie's character and Lyman, they're coming down from the south up to Pittsburgh. And so they have a truck full of watermelons. His hustle is he's going to sell these and then try to get his sister Bernice to let him sell the piano so he can buy this land. The catch is everybody's wondering how this is coming to be in terms of being offered the land. Found out Mr. Sutherland, he died and fell down a well. Now, there's an old black spiritual saying that the ghost of the yellow dog pushed him. Now they tell you what the ghost of the yellow dog is throughout the film. That basically represents a collective of ancestral spirits, enslaved men and women who were wrongfully brutalized and killed near the railroad called the Yellow Dog. So those spirits are technically haunting the bad men and women that were enslaving all these black ancestors. And so every now and then they would push one of the massive down the well. And I guess that spirit is in the piano and it's haunting the house. And so that's where the movie can be like, oh my God, is this a ghost movie? What's going on? But it's so many things at once that I love that background of the story really helps bring it all together because the family has to come together to get this spirit out of there. And then eventually there's scenes at the piano where you're calling on the spirits to really help you out and trying to see what you can get, or did you give up all hope? I really love how they did that. Great job. It didn't feel like forced because I was like, oh, what is this movie gonna be now? Where are we going? Yeah, I was nervous, like, oh man, what are we doing? Is this Ghost or is this a movie? But it really is a great story. There's like 5-6 different stories, all kind of molded into one. The other thing I wanted to add before I let you go is Bernice's character is being courted by Avery, who's a priest. And so he has a great job, and she lost her loved one a while back with Boy Willie. They tried to do a job together, and her significant other never came back. And so she's still hurt about that. Also, they lost their parents too. So you also seeing that sibling rivalry about, we've never talked about that feeling of what it feels of loss. And so there's anger and hostility behind what they both want. And so you're trying to see, like, if you ever had a sibling rivalry with one of your siblings, it's just tough. Like, you never really talk about it. So I love that they kind of are forced to deal with, the elephant in the room. Like, hey man, we've gone through some stuff. We need to really unload this in order for us to move together and move forward as a family. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love the family dynamic of it. Again, you have all the people in the room who were a part of this experience, right? So you have Doker and you have Winning Boy, who were actually there with their father and stole the piano from the slave owner to keep it in their family. So from its very foundation, this is about a greater family experience and a greater family connection. And that piano has a deeper meaning. But we, of course, see Boy Willie, who has aspirations of, grandeur. He wants to own land. He wants to expand the legacy of his family. And in doing so, he kind of negates the power of that emotional connection that his family has to this heirloom. So I really did think they did a great job of showing that that battle of energy between the sister and brother, but also, there were all these other family members in the room who had strong opinions of it, but they wanted to let Bernice and Boy Willie work through whatever it is that they were experiencing and get through that emotional experience and get through that disconnect so that they could come together in the end. And I don't know, I'll still get to my point of what I thought was the thing that just irked me a little bit.
Okay. One of the other moments in the film is they talk about how the piano came to be. This story messed me up. I don't. Should I give it away or tell this? But they tell you
this is a very well-known place.
Okay, people don't read. People don't read. So basically, the piano was traded for slaves. A slave and a half. And so the Sutton's wife. Mr. Sutton, his wife, loved the 2 slaves that were taken. And so because of that, she was just insufferable. She laid in bed all day, made herself to the point she was sick. And she's like, I want those slaves back. But the guy who traded them for the piano didn't want to trade them back. And so one of the slaves, Boy Willie's dad, he was a great carver of wood. And so he put the faces on the piano. And that made Mrs. Sutton happy. So she was like, "Oh, I have my Negroes right in front of me. So this is great. I don't need to have them in real life. I have their pictures to look at." And so that was suffice for her. So that was he tells the story a lot better and deeper, and you feel the energy and the music go with that. And so the trade-off of a slave and a half, the value, right, for a piano, what that was worth, why she felt sad, but a picture of them was able to save everything and mend it. It was so many levels of emotions I felt when he was telling that story. I was angry and I was like, trying to find some happiness in that because, he said, do something special, but he didn't say put the whole family on the piano. And so Boy Willie's father does that. And so that really brought out, he was like, hey, I want something that's ours, even though it isn't. And so he was a great inventor, his father. And so anything that happened, the Suttons would just take it over. So that goes into Boy Willie's story about wanting to carve his own way, no pun intended, where it's about his family and starting a new era of what we could accomplish. And so I love that, it was still instinctively in him to be his own man. And he's trying to carve his own path, as he tries to get the piano.
And I thought, a great counterpoint to that was when we get to see Bernice really plead her case as to why that piano needs to stay there. She talks about how their mother, she would basically wash the piano with her tears, and that piano is filled with the literal blood and the literal tears of their ancestors. And that's why the piano has so much meaning to them, and it has to stay there because their father died for them to have that in their life. And their mother, he was willing to lose his life over the piano, and their mother had to live her existence with that being the remaining piece of him that she had. And so she would sob over it, and she would make Bernice play the piano. So that for her was enough for her to be like, this needs to stay with us, and it's not worth selling this to buy a piece of land. So I thought it was beautiful to see those. We of course it's August Wilson, but it's beautiful to that was the battle between the two, which I think is much, like you said, much more deeper rooted in something else, because they were both struggling with finding meaning in all the things that had happened throughout their life, losing their parents, her losing her, the father of her daughter, him wanting to find footing in this world, but feeling like he had to battle to get there, being a Black man in the South. Like, it was all them fighting all of those demons, and it comes to a head around this piano.
And also, Boy Willie's character, I'm like, bro, you can go back down to the South and buy land. They can take that from you anytime you want. So that always blew my mind, is believing that was going to be actually yours.
Yeah.
The audacity. I'm like, really, brother? You bug it. And they didn't really touch on that. And I was waiting for, of all characters, Joker to be like, you dumbass. You think they're going to let you keep that, But he never did that. He still wanted him to see that this was not going to happen. And so that kind of unfolds throughout the movie. There's a deep dive because you feel the energy, literally the electricity of the being of that piano and what it really meant to that house and meant to that family. And so that was great how they did that with the lighting and little things like that, the slow-mo of when the explosion happened. So I'm not giving a lot of stuff away, but it was really well done. So shout out to everybody in this film. They really did a great job. I'm really excited to see, hopefully get some nominations, kind of go from there.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of buzz and whispers. I think there'll definitely be.
I want a Black Oscars this year. We're due. We're the Black Oscars. We're due.
There'll definitely be some nominations around it.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah. And again,
sorry. This is your
no, it's not a big moment. But again, the major thing that I love that Malcolm Washington was able to bring to this is those subtle moments that weren't a part of the actual script, the original stage play. But he was able to infuse them into the story because we know they're there. So we get to see them back in 1911 when they steal the piano. We get to see when they're on the Yellow Dog, and like a gang of white men come to burn down the train with the slaves in it. So we get to see those experiences. We get to see Sutter falling down the well. We get to see them go to the juke joint or the bar or whatever you want to call it. So we get to see all of these moments that aren't in the original stage play. And it was pulled in so beautifully. We know they're there because they're written about in the story, but we don't ever get to visualize them. But now we do. And I thought it was done very well. The small little gripe I have, and I'm sorry, it's with John David Washington, is the entire culmination of this story is his last moment. And I feel like it was not driven in. So, but this is just me, right? So his whole journey is he's going to come home. He's going to take this piano, whether his sister lets him or not. I don't care what Bernice says. I'm taking this piano. I'm going to sell it. It's the third piece of money I need to buy this land. And I want to grow my family's legacy. I don't care. We stole these watermelons. We're going to sell them. We're going to do that. I'm going to do whatever I can to get this land. And he has to battle her and battle literal ghosts, right? So in the end, when he tells her, you and Martha better play that piano, because if you don't, I might come back and Sutter might too. So he's telling that he's really telling her, like, that piano is going to stay here, but you got to use it. But I felt like that moment just kind of was like a line thrown out. And I was like, huh? And that was the culmination of the entire movie. So for me, I just wanted that. I wanted him to like have that moment, because that would have been an Oscar moment to me, where he like had that moment where he told her to play that piano, girl. I don't think it needed to be overdone, but I feel like it was way too underdone.
My man just flew down a flight of stairs.
That's even why it should have been more.
He was just choked up. I don't think he had the capacity to give you that line of any better than he did.
No,
but I hear you. No. I hear you. But I'm just saying, out of what is going on, because I think that's his belief now. Like, oh wow, you weren't lying. Like there's.
But I didn't even get that. That wasn't even given to me. Like the response you're giving me now is more lived in that your experience of seeing it than his was of living through
it. You know what? When you watch these films, buddy, what are you bringing to the film? All right, I'm bringing some to the film. See, don't.
No, I don't understand your question.
I'm bringing some to the film. I'm digging a little deeper, because I put myself in his shoes of what just happened. So if I would have got choked up and got thrown down a flight of stairs, I'm telling you, I'm saying it just like that. I don't know how much more. I'm like, listen, you got
disagree.
Okay, all right. Now again, didn't get thrown down the stairs, didn't do all that other stuff, because I'm still shook. I'm still like, whoa,
that's what I'm saying. I didn't even get that. I just got a blank saying of the line.
You didn't see his face from the stairs when he came over, like, yo, what the...
That moment was, to me, should have been the culmination of the entire film, because that is the moment he realizes why Bernice is fighting so hard against him and why he has to give up what he wants so bad. And to me, I just didn't get that. But I'm saying still, I think his performance was great. And I'm not trying to take anything away from his performance. That was the only little gripe I had, was that last moment.
Rob, can we get that next week? Can we get you to deliver that line? How it should be done?
Oh, God.
I'm just saying, Rob.
Sure.
Next week. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot right now. So I'll give you time to prepare, for the scene.
Don't need it. That's fine. We'll do it.
There you He ain't gonna do a show next week.
Yeah, we are, because we're doing Wicked next week, right?
What?
We're doing Wicked next week.
Yes, sir. We're doing Wicked. Man, Wicked. God damn. Anyway. Got me angry up in the movie. I couldn't even enjoy my food. Angry. Anyway.
Wow. It was 3 hours long.
I missed a lot. I took a nap. That movie was long. I took a little nap. Maybe 5 minutes. That movie, I was like, oh, they're monkeys now? Oh, man. I was like, how that happen?
They talking to the Wiz. He just gave him a tour of building.
Yeah.
I can take a nap right here while they get a tour.
That's what I'm saying, man. They're making movies too long. Anyway, The Piano Lesson is on Netflix now, streaming. Shout out to the Washingtons. They did an amazing job. Again, another great moment. Hopefully, a lot of nominations. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to maybe being the Oscars. We'll see what happens. We don't know here. We throw things out. Maybe they stick. Maybe they don't. We'll see. Anyway,
and
next week.
This gets a 10 out of 10, Ro.
Boom. Okay, I wasn't gonna ask him, but you give me 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I'm telling you right now, Malcolm Washington did his thing with his directing debut. It was phenomenally done. I'm so excited that Denzel has taken on the Centuries Act and is doing all of these plays and bringing them to film. I cannot wait to see the rest of them. John David Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, Daniel Delwaller, Michael Potts, the entire cast, they were all phenomenal. They did a great job. It's just stellar. And it's beautiful to watch. It's fun to watch. You can't take your eye off the screen. It's magical. And they did justice to everything about August Wilson's play. So I absolutely love it.
And one thing I'll say, it's a movie that takes place, again, after the Great Depression, and freedom and trying to migrate from the south, up to the north, and it sometimes can be really dark and dreary where you have to see the KKK and you see the Klansmen and someone's being hung, and all that is referenced in this without the visual. And so I love that your brain gets to really like, oh wow, I've seen this before, but I love that you showed another side of it. You don't have to always show that, and it really gives you time to really think and put yourself inside the movie. So I was thinking, I was like, oh man, they're burning down my house. Where am I going? I was like, I can go under the house. Oh, they burned under the house. I was like, I can't go on top of the house. I was like, oh, the train? I was like, oh man, so I started thinking too. I was like, I could never survive being a slave. I'll tell you that right now. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Runaway slave. Man.
I imagine.
With 2 seconds. Couldn't even I couldn't survive 2 seconds. My back hurts. Anyway, so great film. We both agree. It's good when that happens. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Next week will be wicked. Yeah. All right. Have a great week and be safe.
Peace. Peace.